Listen up. We're going to spend a few minutes talking about daylight saving time. It's happening this Sunday at 2 a.m. This means more sunshine in the day and more time to spend outside, but it can be quite the adjustment for so many folks. Research shows 44% of Americans prefer daylight saving time, but more than half of them say it takes them 3 days or more to adjust. Joining me this morning is Dr. Shelby Harris, Director of Sleep Health at Sleepopolis. Excuse me for that. I am saying that correctly, right?
Sleepopolis.
Sleepopolis. Thank you very much. I love the name Sleepopolis. It's really fun. Okay, so Doctor, talk to us about the struggles here. People do enjoy having more light in the day and it being lighter later, but there is quite the adjustment with this.
Yeah, there's a big adjustment actually. So what happens is we lose that hour of sleep in the spring, and it actually isn't really related. It doesn't go along with our body's natural biological rhythm. So you lose an hour of sleep. We actually find that more people are sleepy in the few days after the daylight saving change. And then also we find there's higher risk of heart attacks, higher rates of heart attacks, as well as car accidents. So it does take some time to adjust. We'd actually in sleep medicine prefer we stay in standard time year round and just get rid of the time change all along, because that's better for our bodies.
Amen to that. I always say if sleeping was a sport, I'd be benched because I am the world's worst sleeper. Falling asleep is impossible. Staying asleep is challenging. I know, too, sleep experts, doctors in sleep medicine, they're suggesting folks start preparing for the change right now.
Yeah, there are some things, some people find it to be a little bit of overkill, but there are some people who really find that does help them. So what you could do is start, and I love that we're doing this interview now as opposed to the day before. What you could do is start going to bed about 15 to 20 minutes earlier and waking up 15 to 20 minutes earlier every day or two up until the time change, so that you've now adjusted earlier, and then when you spring ahead, come Sunday night into Monday, or Saturday night into Sunday, you've actually now adjusted fully. So that's one of the best ways to do it. There are other ways though too, like on the actual Sunday when you wake up and you've lost that hour. I actually tell people on Saturday, change your clocks that day and start eating at that time, doing things that you would normally do a little bit of a different time so that you start adjusting a little gradually even that day before. And then on the actual time change on Sunday, when we actually have sprung ahead, make sure you get light in the morning, you get some gentle movement. You don't have to go for that hard workout that a lot of people might do on a Sunday. Caffeinate appropriately. So don't go and have too much coffee or tea in the afternoon, because that can make it worse for a lot of people. And then just make sure you're hydrating, because sleep deprivation, even losing 1 hour, can cause a lot of dehydration. So make sure you're drinking water during the day. It's really important.
All good suggestions. Hey, let me ask you this. I recall being a kid, we'd come home from school, do our homework, and then we'd stay outside until really the sun went down. How do you explain to children, students, daylight saving time and the best ways for them to adjust?
Yeah, I think we have to talk about it as the reason why it was started, and that we changed the clocks to try and give us more light in this time of year so that people can be outside. But like I was saying earlier, that's not actually the ideal thing for our body's natural rhythm. So what we need is to talk with kids and adults too, honestly. We're all sitting there with the screens in our face. To talk with them about light and dark being important. Light for keeping yourself awake, and darkness for helping to get you to sleep, to help that melatonin in your brain come out. So I always try to encourage 1 to 2 hours before bed to really have them inside. I mean, yes, the summer we have those nights where we're out late, and that's totally fine. But making those the exception during the school year especially, to really try and stay away from the screens, to try and dim the lights inside, to really try and have that sunset to help get your brain ready for sleep that hour before you're going to go to bed.
Listen, I think we have to do a study on morning show folks. Our sleep times are all over the place. It's sort of a mess. But when you're talking to people about, changing that bedtime, that gradual shift, what are ways that you initiate that conversation and getting results?
So it's really about not just saying go to bed 15 minutes earlier and adjusting. It's thinking about all the other things that lead up to you're not necessarily going to bed at the time you are slowly moving it earlier. So it's thinking about meal times, moving that earlier, exercise times. You have to think about it as like kind of a sequela of all the things leading up so that you can then start to really do it. And one other thing I love to use are alarms. So put an alarm on your phone. There's some of the cell phones have apps on them that will start to turn things off. So it's a nice reminder for you to start moving your bedtime earlier. But remember, you move the bedtime earlier, you also need to move the wake time earlier, ideally, as well.
Yeah, all good suggestions. This morning, for the first time in a really long time, because I'm a light sleeper, the alarm clock woke me up, and I was so startled. I was like, what is going on? It was the alarm.
It's a weird, nice feeling when it happens.
Right? It is. It is. Dr. Harris, thank you so much for your time this morning. Sleepopolis.
You got it.
Sleepopolis. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.